All right, welcome everybody to Divine Leadership Codes. I'm so happy to have you here. If you're an entrepreneur, you're on the soul path, you are in the right place. There is a belief that is running your finances right now that you didn't choose, all right? And this is actually influencing your revenue. And I want to get right into this because this is so important for you. You're about to take off, and once you actually confront what might be protecting you from creating more revenue, I feel like you're going to have a massive, massive upgrade, but it's the risk, it's the energy that needs to shift. And we're going to get right into that. Stay to the end because we're going to be doing a wealth code activation in this video as well. Okay, so what is this belief? What is it that is knocking you off the financial goals that you are asking for? It's preventing you from getting where you want to be. What is it? Okay, so actually, what came through for you was that you might have one of those mindsets where it's all or nothing. Okay, so maybe you don't realize that your business is a long journey. Okay, it's something that is meant to build over time. It is not something that's just supposed to pop overnight. But some part of you is expecting that. And because you're expecting that, it's putting you in a position of frustration when you're not growing as fast as maybe some of the other people that you're comparing yourself to are growing. And this is an issue because what's happening is it's causing you to doubt yourself. It's causing you to get frustrated. And obviously when you're frustrated, it's hard to create abundance from that place because all you're thinking about is I don't have, okay? So this message that I want to start with is all about teaching you how to create sustainable growth and really recognize that not everybody is meant to just succeed overnight. I know there's people out there that do well pretty quickly, but you're one of those people that's going to really gain more and more success through time. So if you're not getting what you need right away, don't worry about it, okay? It's coming, and it's something that you're going to be really, really grateful for, because when you get to that place, you're going to be so proud of your journey. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I learned so much in the process. And the person that I became in the process has made me so much more grateful for what I have. And you're not going to squander the wealth. You're going to know what to do with it. You have a lot of experience. You're just going to start recognizing the value in taking time, okay? You want to also learn how to balance your rest and drive. If you're somebody who's really, really driven and you're really fiery, you might need to learn how to slow down a little bit. And if you're somebody who's just really lazy, you might need to learn how to speed up a little bit, right? But I find in the coaching experiences I've had, people who judge themselves as lazy are often the ones that have the most drive and the ones that actually think they have the most drives are the ones that are lazy. And there's a really interesting thing that happens in our brain when we always think we're the opposite of what we are. And so I just want to highlight this for you in case this resonates, all right? You also want to redefine what productivity means to you, because progress isn't necessarily about constant motion. It's just about meaningful and intentional actions. And your job is to choose depth over quantity in your work and in your relationships. And really trust that the longevity of your purpose is going to lead to something beautiful, okay? So really honoring the rest, honoring the action, releasing guilt if you do feel guilt around resting, okay? And recognizing that your wealth is meant to be built over time, so you can just relax and let yourself receive, okay? It's really important that you do that, because if you keep getting annoyed with what you don't have, it can really make you feel a certain way. And then when you feel that way, it can really take up a lot of your time and emotions and energy that you need in order to relax and receive, okay? Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is that it is really important that you start choosing collaboration over competition, okay? Because this is how your business is meant to expand now. If you're somebody who has a lot of bad history working with other people, you want to address that now, okay? You want to address the parts of you that chose to work with those people. Maybe you didn't practice some discernment. Maybe they were great people to work with, but the dynamics weren't right. Maybe you weren't mature enough and ready to work with those people. Like sometimes we have to really confront our previous investments and our previous partners and our previous collaborations that didn't work out, and ask ourselves, like, why didn't they work out? And what was I supposed to learn from that experience? Because a lot of times there is something meaningful that we're meant to learn. And when we don't learn it, we actually end up blocking future collaborations because we're stuck in this energy of like, no, those don't work. Or, I don't gain any kind of like success from that, right? So you really have to recognize, what did you learn in your previous collaborations? What ideas do you have about competition? Because when you do connect to your level of collaboration, you're going to feel that your business starts expanding more and more. Okay. The next thing that you need to know is that some of you guys might have content that is really different from anything you've ever seen or read. And that's because this content is life generated. It is literally coming from your personal experience. And you are somebody that has a lot of personal experience. You've done a lot of growing. You've done a lot of internal work. You've done a lot of shadow work. And you've also done a lot of exploring and creating. And in that process, you have so much new information to drop onto the earth. And there's people that are actually salivating for your content, okay? You might not believe it, but if you just try putting it out there, you might be surprised that there's actually a whole set of people that have just been waiting for you to show up, right? And they're really, the things that you're going to share, these people are going to be really affected in a positive manner. And it's important that you share, okay? The other thing I want to get into is that you want to anchor your whole business into love. Now, I know that sounds super woo-woo, so let's ground that a little bit. But essentially, when love becomes your influence, you no longer are doing it for any other reason than it feels good in your heart, okay? I know there's a lot of jealous people out there. I know there's a lot of envious people out there. I know you've probably had to slay a ton of demons to get to where you are today, even as a CEO. But let me tell you that when you lead from love, everything changes. If you have a team, it doesn't mean you lead without boundaries, but you lead with purpose and meaning and love. When you have clients and customers, you know, there is a way to take away all the programming that you learned about business and just show up with presence. When you show up with presence, people feel heard. And when people feel heard, they feel loved. And when they feel loved, you're in a really good position as a business owner to really give them something meaningful that they're going to come back for. It's not just about the money. It's about the love that they receive from you through your service or your product or whatever it is that you're offering. Okay, so it's really important that you recognize that your product or your service has to be filled with the love that you have in your heart. Okay, and when you share it with the world, you're sharing your love with the world through your product or service. And that has to be a really sacred thing for you, right? It's so easy to just think, okay, business, business, business. But when you're anchored into love, you're creating business from a whole new dynamic. You're creating a new earth type of business. The type of business that isn't just about getting validation or performing. It's more about just being present. Who am I and who is my audience and how can they receive from me what's inside my heart? When you come from that place, you're going to notice that people are going to really start to vibe with you. And they're going to feel that love and they're going to reflect that love. You know what I mean? And I think that there's some astrological shifts taking place as well right now for a lot of people, where a lot of our masks are coming off and a lot of the ways in which we were taught to perform are starting to just leave, and we're just starting to naturally connect with each other in a more authentic way. And it just feels really good. You know, I'm going through that myself right now. And I think the other thing that I want to share here with you is that you've been calling for support, you've been asking for support, and that support that you've been calling in is coming, okay? It's actually very, very close, if it's not already there, but it just needs to be unraveled a little bit, okay? It's arriving to bring grace, and it's arriving to bring clarity. So if you've been in a position for a while where you're like, I'm not sure where things are going, and I'm feeling really uncertain about my future, and I'm not sure, you know, how my finances are going to shape up and things like that, there is support that is coming, and you just need to know that, trust that, okay? And don't push it away. Whatever you do, do not push the support away, okay? If there's some kind of little offer that comes through and it feels good inside you, just keep moving towards it. If something feels too good to be true, just analyze it a little bit before you just brush it off, okay? Maybe it is a scam, but maybe it's not, you know, maybe it's your prayer being answered and you're just in disbelief, so you end up pushing it away. But there are a lot of blessings, I think, that we can receive when we're constantly praying and meditating on the things we want, and then we start getting them and we start questioning, wait a second, is that even real? Well, a lot of times it is real, but we don't realize it because we're doubting our own blessing from coming into our lives, right? So it is really important that you are open to receiving, okay? I just want to say that. And finally, let's just get into this code. So the code that I picked for you today is called the Wealth Capacity Code. And this is about how your income expands at the rate that your body feels safe receiving it. And this code is interesting that it's coming up now because I have some clients that have been telling me some really crazy stories about how when they got sick or when they got into an accident, they were in the hospital or they were just really unwell and bedridden. That is when a lot of their businesses started just picking up all of a sudden. It's like they had to surrender. And when they were like sick or unwell, it was like their business didn't have anything kind of pushing it down anymore in terms of like control, mental control. And so that full surrender of like, okay, well, I can't do anything. It was like suddenly these people were making like 6 figures selling books and things like that and courses because they were just not in a position to try to control anything anymore. And when they gave up that control, that's when their business was successful because they had already created those automated products and those automated funnels and whatnot. So this is something that I think is really important to recognize, that when we do allow ourselves to just relax and receive, things can just come so much easier. But when we're battling everything, when we're doubting everything, when we're trying to control everything or just question everything, it actually does muddle up the whole frequency that we're meant to emit, which is one of pure love and abundance. So I'm going to work on this code. If you guys want to consent to this, go ahead, sit back, relax. You can put your palms facing up over your lap. We're going to do some energetic work to align you to receive more, okay? And really, we're just going to ask that your body can start to feel safer receiving more finances today. So thank you very much for being here. I'm going to take a nice deep breath and connect with you all. Beautiful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask the hand of God to start removing any sort of limitations that you're putting on receiving wealth or any fears that you have around wealth. Maybe you're just thinking a lot about your bills, or you're just overly concerned with your future. Maybe you're worried about something coming through or not right now. You just have a lot of uncertainty. We're just going to ask the hand of God to clear that out of your system. And just allow you to relax. And I want you to imagine yourself just floating down a river. You're just floating downstream this river. And as you're floating downstream, you're literally like running into like buckets of treasures. And every bucket of treasure that you run into, you're like, okay, I received this. And then you go and you keep going down the stream, and then there's another bucket of treasure. And that bucket of treasure might look different from the last one. One might be gold coins. The other one might be a massive opportunity. The other one might be a sweet new friendship or a new collaboration or a new client that just makes your heart flutter. I want you to imagine all these beautiful buckets of treasures that you're running into as you're just naturally floating downstream the river. And how good it feels that you don't have to even swim for this. It's just, you're just relaxing for this, and it's just coming to you naturally, organically. We're just going to ask the hand of God to now open up your auric field to receive more and more and more. And then we're just going to ask that it gets grounded out through the bottoms of your feet, anchoring it into the earth so you can really put yourself in a position to receive that. Thank you very much. Beautiful. And then just take a nice deep breath. And you can leave this call, hopefully, or this video, hopefully feeling a lot better and feeling more relaxed and ready to receive. If you guys want to join our soulpreneur community, you're welcome to. Check us out at soulpreneurinstitute.com. The details are below in the description box. If you want to get some more wealth codes in you, definitely check out my wealthcodeactivations.com. You get 33 wealth codes over 33 days delivered to your inbox. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.